Tell me a story, make it magical. Picture as fantastical. Colorblind. Suddenly I can hardly breathe. Like somebody touched me before. Yeah, no. Is it you or just the way you make me feel? I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Take me away to somewhere beautiful, real but indescribable. A shadow of fear gives a billboard to you to shine. Ocean room, all I see in the light orbits different, and yet it's all the same. And then I cry again. Alright, welcome everyone to the Share and Share Alike show. I'm Cher Gorgeous, your host, and this is the Hotel California Studios. Thank you for being part of the Share Force today. Okay, so before we bring our guests on, let's talk about a few things happening in the world today. So in Japan, I'm really going global with this. Because somebody could be watching from there. No one is, but it could happen. Why not? Anyway, in Japan, because of the pandemic, the Japandemic, okay. Anyway, there's no kissing or something about, what is it? You have to clean a microphone before you use it. I would say that's a good practice in general. Nobody needs the PDA, and nobody needs, and you should be cleaning up more. Bring your own damn microphone. Okay, so next up, in North Korea, the gambling addiction has increased in at-home workers who are probably kind of bored and probably can't think of what to do with themselves, and also are working, therefore they have the money. Me, I'm trying to save money. Anyway, not gambling. At least that's not an addiction of mine. Which is why I don't gamble, because it would be an addiction of mine. Gambling's fun. Okay, last but not least, well, second to last but not least, Buckingham Palace revealed details of Princess Beatrice's wedding. All I can say to that is, who? Sorry, I've never heard of her, and I think she's like 9th in line for the throne, so basically never getting... not happening. She's not going to be Queen Beatrice. Anyway, last but not least, today is National Junk Food Day. So, have your chips, have your pretzels, have fries, whatever, because you can, because it's National Junk Food Day. And with that, I will bring on my guest for the day, who is the one and only... Really, this guy has like an amazing range. I'm so excited to have him on today. So let's bring on Tony Harnell. Learn to start saving some of this monologue for when I'm waiting for my guest, and there he is.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Oh, right. How are you?
In your hometown, I guess it's only 3:30, right?
That's correct. But I'm not in my hometown right now. I don't think I don't have a hometown at the moment. Home is
no more Nashville.
Well, I mean, that's where I've been. Yeah, that's where I've been most recently.
Right.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's
How's New York City?
90 degrees.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's why I'm in like a tube top and and shorts. Well, I wear shorts from the minute I can to the minute I can't. Really, that's me.
Okay. Cool.
How's London?
It's great. Yeah. I mean, it's been bad in England. So, but things are starting to open up. I don't know if they'll stay open. People have not been necessarily playing by the rules. So.
No mask?
I haven't, honestly. I wear them all the time, at least indoors especially, or anytime I think I'm going to be around a crowd that I can't get away from, but other people aren't doing that. So, and they're getting a little closer than I'm comfortable with. So, I think they'll be closing soon, maybe, again. I don't know.
So, like, what brought you to London in the first place?
Well, my girlfriend lives here, so and we got sort of caught on different continents when this thing happened. So we didn't know how long it was going to go on. So we sort of oops, that was my phone falling, so that didn't work. Yeah, I'm trying to prop it in some way that I don't have to look at hold of it anything. But anyway, we got caught in two different places, so we were kind of not knowing how long it was going to go on, and when it was apparently going to go on for a while, we realized that there was a little moment in early May where things got a little bit easier. So I hopped on a quarter full plane and with a mask and came over.
And now you're in London.
That's right.
All right. Where you filmed your portion of the video for the Echobats song.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And it's getting such a great response, so we're really excited about that. And I think, yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and I think it's easy to get real. I mean, I even have the desire myself to do a very thoughtful, serious kind of, something to address what's going on, because so many things are happening right now that are alarming and disturbing. I also think a lot of good things can come out of this at the end of the day. But this is just a song that we had written before this all happened, and we had it sort of sitting there. And when this happened, I said to the guys, we were working on more, potentially to do more, and I just thought, let's put it out. It's happy, it's upbeat, it's kind of the perfect time to to get it out there. So, and everyone's been responding really well. So I guess it's the right. So it's kind of a happy / not so happy summer song.
Right. Well, in honor of your band, I'm wearing these earrings. Do you see what they are?
I guess they're little bats. I can't see them,
yes.
But I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're little. They're part of my every Halloween. I go crazy because that's when you can find jewelry with bats or skulls, or I have an apron that's like a skeleton, for example. But yeah, I wore these in honor. So what made you guys? Because you guys are a new band, I get to ask this question. What made you guys choose the name the Echobats?
I had a few names. I have a dear friend named Derek, who I've known since I was 18 years old, who lives in New York City. And anytime I need a name for something, a band, a project, anything at all, I go to him. he's always just got brilliant ideas. So he sent me a big list of things last year, actually, for a project I was looking to put together that wasn't related to this. But I looked through his list and I thought, well, this looks kind of cool. Let me see what the other guys think. And they agreed with me. So that's we stuck with that.
Works.
Nothing really special other than it just sounds cool. Everyone agreed with me, so went with it.
I think it's. I love bats personally, or I wouldn't own these earrings. But so it was like, it's a great name, and I love the song. And
thank you.
so yeah, when I had Joel on, that was the first time I'd heard it, and I immediately sent the video to like 5 friends and said, "This is your new favorite song."
Did they agree?
Yes.
Nice. I love that.
I'm hoping that it gets radio play so often that like when you hear that song that you love at first and then you're like, oh my God, it's on again. So that's what I wish for you guys.
We're working on it. Even though the video's been out for 2 weeks, it's doing really well. And now we're trying to promote it in waves. The record label is doing a really good job. Mercia Records, and it's distributed by the Orchard / Sony. So we're starting to do more as time goes on. The great thing about the music industry now is you can put something out, and I mean this has kind of always been that way. You can put something out, and if it doesn't click right away, you can just keep promoting it over time. And I've heard of videos and songs taking off years after. Sometimes years, but months after they, originally come out. So.
Right. I've even heard of songs like you're saying, actually even years taking off.
Yeah.
I think I Would Walk 1,000, whatever it is, 10,000.
Oh, right. Yeah. Exactly.
That song took off way after it was first popular. My Sharona was really popular, of course, in 1978, I want to say, and which of course is near and dear to me because I'm Sharyn. But and I was excited when I was a little kid to hear a song even close to my name anywhere. But then it took off again when it was in Reality Bites. So you never know.
You never know. I mean, we just love the song, and people seem to really love it. So I think you're right. I think it just needs to get heard by more people.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a feel-good kind of catchy song. What's interesting about it, and I said this to Joel, but I'll say it again to you, of course, is that, you guys all have a hard rock background, and you can hear it, seeping through this, power pop song,
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I always tell people, I grew up on so many different things. I mean, my mother was an opera singer. I grew up on things like Glenn Campbell and the Beatles and folk music, in the 60s and 70s, and just so many different influences were coming in from an early age, and that's what really shaped me musically. When I hit that age at 14, 15, somebody turned me on to my first Judas Priest record, and I started going down in Rainbow, and I started going down that road. But the other stuff is in my blood, and I think it's the same for everybody else that's involved in this project. And I think that this is a natural. It's funny for people to hear it, but it's a natural thing for us. And I always say to people also, I made my name with a band called TNT that has a certain sound, but it could have just as easily been some other kind of, some other band. That's just what I happen to, get the most attention with. So that's what people associate me with, that style of singing exactly. So when I break out of that and do something else, which I plan on doing from time, and I have done actually my entire career, I've been doing things like that, acoustic albums, and sort of jumping all over the place. But the majority of people that know who I am know me from TNT. So, but yeah, this style doesn't seem that crazy for me, but I think for the fans, like you said, it's not necessarily what they'd expect.
Now, you have quite the range. You know, like, when I listen to TNT and I listen to this song, I still hear, like, the same vocals, which is what I just said. I'm kind of reiterating what I said. But what I'm trying to get, the point I'm trying to make is, or the question I'm trying to ask is, have you ever considered doing, like, opera or theater or any of that? Or have you done that?
Well, knowing what opera takes, I was kind of, for a moment, maybe I thought it might be interesting, but it's a lot of work. Theater intrigues me more, but it would have to be the right thing. I did go see, I have some friends in the theater that are some pretty major theater singers, like James Barber, who was in Phantom of the Opera and Beauty and the Beast, and some others, a pretty major guy. And I saw Sebastian in Jekyll and Hyde, and I thought he was great. And so if the right thing, and I would totally be into checking that out for sure. But I think I'm just very open-minded. Right now, it's just so weird. This whole thing is just very strange, and I think that for me personally, it's making me reevaluate a lot of things about my career, my life. I'm trying to see it as a very positive thing as much as possible, even though I see a lot of things that scare me about the world and about a lot of things. I'm trying personally in my universe. I'm trying to see how much positivity I can gain from this. I didn't really answer your question, but
so I guess that's maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I'm very open. Like, if something cool comes along and it seems, and it's really good people are involved, and there's a lot of talent involved in it, and it seems challenging to me in some way, I would totally look at it, for sure.
So, like, if somebody asked you to be in Jesus Christ Superstar or something like that, why not?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Right. Which I've never seen. I just only know a few songs. Maybe I only know the title song.
Well, you have to watch the movie. The original movie from the 70s is great.
That might be an Amazon Prime thing that I'll have to definitely do. I will have to do that when I have a minute, which I never seem to anymore. But I'll get there, because at some point I gotta wind down. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, let's see. You've been singing since you were 5.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
most
as far back as I can remember. It might be before that.
Wow. Well, most 5-year-olds can't carry a tune across the street, and meanwhile you managed to. So, and speaking of TNT, you joined them in, like, 1984, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, yeah. 1980 was May of 84. That's right.
And how did that come about?
I was in a band in New York City called The Jackals, not to be confused with Jackal. I think we were before that. And I joined that band in about 83, I think. And we started to play a couple of venues around New York City. One of them in particular in the Bronx, we would have 1,000 people there on Friday nights. And we played there a couple times a month. And started to branch out, play New Jersey and Manhattan and various clubs. And one night we were playing in Manhattan. I think we were playing at the metal night they used to have at Studio 54 on Wednesdays, but I can't remember. And Mike Varney actually came backstage. Mike Varney's known for discovering a lot of great guitar players, and he has a label called Shrapnel Records. And he came backstage with this other guy who happened to be managing TNT. And apparently Mike had flown from San Francisco. There was word of mouth about me and from being at the Jackals. So I had this demo floating around. It had quite a few songs on it from the time that I'd been in bands, from 17 through this period, 21 that I'm talking about. Anyway, they said, look, this band in Norway, we're working with them. They were in the middle of making a record, and they fired their singer, and the guitar player heard your demo, and if you want the gig, you have it. And they gave me a cassette. One side was the music only, and the other side had vocals on it. And they said, take it home, and if you like it, let us know, and you'll be on a plane in like a matter of weeks. So I was living with my bass player, and so that was a little awkward. We went back to the apartment, and I was kind of thinking, I'll wait until I have some privacy and I'll listen to it. And he sat there at home from the gig 2 a.m, and he says, listen to it. Let's put it on. Let's hear it, So we put it on, and it was, of course, incredible. But I played down my reaction, and I sort of acted like it was no big deal. And he said, so what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know, I got to think about it. He goes, what, are you crazy? That's amazing. So he pushed me to do it. And so did everybody else when they heard the stuff. So, and I ended up over there within a couple of weeks, and recorded Knights of the New Thunder in about a week, because most of the music was done. And the rest was history, as they say.
So that's actually kind of interesting, because at that time a lot of people were going westbound and you went eastbound, farther eastbound.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me, looking back. I was pretty adventurous, and I just loved the music so much. I loved doing it so much that and that when I heard the band and I heard Ronnie play guitar, it spoke to me, and I really felt that I was a good match for that music, and it was just a no-brainer. So going to Norway, why not? And the band only had a record deal in Norway at the time, but it was with a major label. So it was with Polydor, and which at the time was Polygram in America. Before Universal took over, and Mercury Records over here, and Vertigo in Norway. So anyway, I thought, well, the worst that'll happen is it'll be an amazing demo for me to move forward with my career, and I can even come back and join my band in New York. And they were very encouraging and supportive, about the whole thing. But we finished the album, it got mixed, and the label in Norway started sending it out to their friends at the offices of the same label in other countries, and it just started to get released all over Europe, and then Japan, and then finally, I guess a few months after it started to come out all over Europe, we got the call from the main office in New York City that they wanted to pick the album up and sign a whole new deal for the world, and that's when it was sort of like, okay, I guess this is real.
And so that lasted about 5 years, right? If I'm not mistaken, or were you with TNT a lot longer than that?
Oh my gosh, somebody didn't do their homework.
No, I thought I did, but okay, I could be wrong.
No, we 84 was Knights of the New Thunder came out in Europe in 84, came out in America in 85. Also accompanying that was the Seven Seas video. Then we went in to make the second record. We did some touring on Nights, mostly Europe, but we did do a little bit in the States. Then we went back in the studio. We fired our manager. We signed with Doc McGee, who also at the time only had Motley Crue and Bon Jovi, and then he signed TNT as the third act. And we went on to make Tell No Tales, and that came out in 87. And of course, most people know us from that album, 10,000 Lovers, and we made three music videos for that one. Well, we made at least 2, and then we toured with Stryper. We toured with Twisted Sister, Great White, and we did our own shows as well. And we did an extensive tour of Europe, and then we went back in the studio to do Intuition, and that came out in '89, and that was the breakthrough in Japan, and we had a platinum album in Japan, and played some sold out tour a very successful sold out tour there. Same thing in America, and then we switched labels. In 1990, we went from Mercury Records to Atlantic Records, and then we put out Realized Fantasies.
That's where I got mixed up.
Yeah.
Now I see.
Then we put out Realized Fantasies in 1992, and then we took a break for about 3 years, and maybe 4, and then we got back together, and there was a greatest hits album release that went gold in Japan, which prompted kind of a reunion. And then we came back together again, and we did Firefly in 97. We released that. And then in 99, we put out an album called Transistor, and we toured Japan, we toured Europe on those. We didn't come back to the States. And then we kept going. I also had a band called Westworld, so I was making a couple of Westworld albums. We did 3 studio albums. That was with Mark Reale and from Riot, and who's now passed away. Bruno Ravel from Danger Danger, and John O'Reilly, who plays in Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And we did 3 albums, 3 studio albums and 1 live album, actually, and toured Japan, and played a lot of really cool shows, actually, around New York, New Jersey area. And then I got back into TNT again. We weren't really broken up. We just had sort of other things going on. So from 99 to 2002, we were doing other things. And then we got back together, started writing in 2002 and 3, actually. And then we put out an EP in 2003 and started touring again a lot. And then in 2004, we put out My Religion, which for me is the best TNT album that we ever made. It has a lot of songs on it. We were really creative during that period. We did a lot of shows in a lot of European countries. We played a lot of festivals. And yeah, it sold really well. And then we went on to do another album, All the Way to the Sun, in 2005. And then we took a break. I left for a while, and they got Tony Mills to step in, and they did 3 albums with him. And Tony Mills passed away, sadly, last year. And then that was it for studio albums. But we got back together in 2014 and did a lot of touring, and went back to Japan and so on. So it's been, and then 2017, we also did a full year of touring. So, and released a DVD actually last year. So actually in and out a couple of times, but I've been there, since, from 84 off and on till 2017.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
A lot longer than my confused head.
That's
I get it.
I mean, the American focus wasn't there anymore because the band was based in Norway, so it just didn't make sense for us to. It wasn't really financially possible for us to spend a lot of time over in the States, but that was always the goal, was to get back there in some way. And we were booked on Monsters of Rock in 2017, but one of the band members couldn't get a visa, so I actually went and did an acoustic show with Bumblefoot. So. Yeah, so there's a little quick history, and there were live albums and best ofs smattered in there, throughout that whole period.
So I guess that's a problem for European bands in general. I know, like some bands from Sweden have tried to play here, but it's not worth it financially, so they don't really bother. Or is that?
Well, it's funny because a lot of the fans will. I'll correct the way you said that, though. It's not that we don't bother. It's literally that every time we set out to attempt it, when we put the budget together to bring over, we have a pretty serious stage show, not so much with bells and whistles, but with our sound. So we don't do what a lot of bands do, where they're sort of like, well, let's just go with no gear. And we'll pick up a sound guy, and the thing about TNT is to do what we do, we have to have certain gear we travel with, and we absolutely have to have our sound guy and our crew. So that makes it a little more expensive than some of the other bands.
Well, it sounds like you guys are a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. So it's not. I still don't rule out the possibility of coming back and building something back up over here. It's going to take a festival or two. It's going to see. We have to see how that goes. But obviously, that's a ways off. But I guess that was in a way inferring that I would be back in that situation again. And I believe that eventually that will happen. On some level, so we'll have to see how that unfolds.
Cool. Well, I hope so as well. Now, also, I know at one point you were like an Ayurvedic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you like an Ayurvedic dietitian as well?
Not Ayurvedic, no, but I had thyroid cancer in 2009, and the same year my mother passed away from breast cancer. I did fine. I had my surgery. I take a pill every morning now to survive, and I have no thyroid. But that experience, and then soon after that, TNT lost our keyboard player at 44 years old from melanoma, and then soon after that, my grandmother passed away, and there was just all these sort of death and things, and it just sparked my interest in natural health. So I'd always been into eating well and eating organic and that kind of thing, but it really sparked my interest. So I went to integrative nutrition, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and for a year, it's a pretty intense course. And
I was going to do that too at one point.
What's that?
I was thinking of doing that at one point as well.
Yeah, and I got a certification as a health coach, so I'm a certified health coach. I don't really use it. My goal was really just to learn about it, not to be a health coach, but maybe to write a book about it, or perhaps in some way, I don't know. Actually, I just wanted to learn more, so that's why I did it. And I did learn a lot.
Well, that's great. And do you practice that now, or you're kind of, that's on pause?
Well, no. I mean, recently it's interesting. Like I said, I've always tried to eat well. Recently, I have gone vegan, and it's been a really great thing for me to do right now, especially during this time and what's going on. I mean, I find it to be. I feel I have more energy. It's cheaper, but ultimately it's better for the planet, and it's better for our animal friends. But for the planet, when you think about what's happening in the rainforests and everything else, I mean, I think I just came to the conclusion that I just didn't want to contribute to the madness of what's going on, and so and also considering that. Somebody said before they die, they hope they meet me. That's really sweet. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of, I think that we keep messing around with animals, and I think that's part of the reason this virus is going on. If it does indeed come from bats, which the science says that it does, there's a reason for that. Swine flu was pigs, and it's just always something, and I think that we really need to start living differently. And from the research and the data that I've seen, the planet is not sustainable the way we're going right now. If we continue, devouring meat the way we have been, it's just not gonna work. So I just don't want to contribute to it anymore.
Well, that's near and dear to me because I've been vegan for 12 years and almost 12 years because of the animals. And so, yeah, in September it'll be 12 years. I went vegan at my friend's wedding. But so, congratulations.
Thank you. And, I'm not one of these militant ones that tries to get everybody, but I think for me, it was the right choice. So
I just send out positive vibes and to the world. That's where I've come to, not driving myself crazy with it anymore.
Yeah.
The less the more I just send it, and I think it's working because a lot more people like yourself have gone vegan. So I'm done with the preaching. Nobody wants to hear it. I don't even want to say it.
Right.
So what else was I going to ask you? So regarding your solo music, so you've been doing that as well, I would imagine, during the pandemic a little bit.
So, yeah, not as much as you might think. At first I felt like a lot of musicians that I had all this pressure to do something, and so I did a bunch of Facebook shows. After about a month of lockdown, I just started to think, okay, I'm going to do, and but I did it really, really well. I put a great sound together, went direct, instead of doing it out into the microphone of the phone. I actually did it very professionally, and I had fun with that. But at some point, I just felt like it was there were more things that were important to focus on. So I've been reading and just kind of getting into just quiet time and contemplating and making some moves and figuring out what the future is going to bring and planning things. And I'm not sure that music will always play a part of my future. I'm just not sure that it's going to be as important to me as it has been before. I think that it's becoming more important to me to just sort of live a life that's meaningful in other ways. It's been too many years of the focus has just been like music, and I think like I said, I'm not stopping, but at the same time there's just so much more to life than constantly chasing that stuff down and dealing with the business, which is still a horrible business. And if there's any business left after this, I mean, this has just been devastating to a lot of people's businesses. But the entertainment world depends on people being together in tight places, and that's not working at the moment. So
very true.
I actually had a tour booked with Michael Sweet. I'm wearing the shirt for it right now. For that was originally booked for I think it was May actually, or maybe was it May? Yeah, it was May. Then it was moved to September, October, and we're looking at we don't know what's at the moment it's we don't know. So if that doesn't happen, I'm not sure that it's going to, because we moved it once already, so I don't know. And then I had a tour of Australia earlier in the year that was canceled. And a festival actually that I was supposed to do in the States as well. So just kind of looking at the whole picture, I really don't think we're going to see. I know people are trying to pop out and do shows. A couple of bands have done it recently, and I don't think it was the greatest decision in the world. And I think it's a little bit unfair, actually, because so many people, like myself, got canceled. Things were canceled. Income was lost. The fans want to go to the shows, but so many people are staying home for the safety of their, people that are older, or for themselves even. And I just think that, let's face it, our audience is around the age where it starts to get kind of, sketchy in terms of, and even that is weird because people are dying at younger ages from this thing. So we don't even know. But from the standpoint of responsibility to get this thing, handled the right way, I think that I certainly don't want to contribute to, I don't want to be the guy to go out and try to do a show, because I don't know if the fans will necessarily, all of them anyway, will necessarily follow the rules, and I don't want to be responsible for somebody getting sick.
Right. Things have to clear out a lot more before you guys can go back out there and everything.
Exactly.
But what I was going to ask you before, and then I forgot, because we got caught up in nutrition, which was interesting, of course. But when you were talking about books and whatever, well, not and whatever. But have you thought about doing memoirs?
I have, yeah. I've started it a few times, and I just seem to, life will take on some other new direction, and I get a little sidetracked. And then after I go through some other experience, I think, well, now's the time. I think it's getting close to doing it. I know a lot of people have lived unusual lives, but mine certainly then qualifies as unusual. So I don't know if people will be that interested in it, but yeah, it's something I'd like to do. Or maybe just write a story that's loosely based on it. That could be more interesting, so I could have more freedom to add things if it gets boring.
You could have superpowers besides you being able to sing 4 octaves.
Ha! There you go.
You could actually make things come out of your hands like in the video.
Exactly.
Well, I don't want to keep you any longer. What time is it? I can't tell.
It's 10, 11.
Yeah, we went over. But that's okay. I don't mind going over if my guest doesn't mind going over. Well, I don't want to keep you any longer. You've been a wonderful guest. We've had no staticky interruptions, as I was worried about, because I've had it a few times.
Do we want to let people ask any questions? It's like there's a new people.
Oh yeah, people want to ask questions. They're more than welcome to. If anybody has any.
Let's see what we got here. Someone said, wait. So Chris, somebody saying Chris, named Chris, is saying wait. Anyway.
Chris Inglima, which I'm probably butchering. Sorry, Chris Inglima.
I know there's a delay as well, so I think.
Right.
Any Knights of the New Thunder album reunion? Oh, that's interesting. Well, let's see. It came out in '84. In Europe, so if we did an anniversary thing for it, I guess that would be still a couple of years away from doing the well, I guess it would be, wow, would that be 40 years? That's so scary to think about that.
Tell me about it.
That's really scary. I don't know. I haven't thought about that, but it would be interesting to attempt to do that record. I don't think it would be easy for anybody in the band, but I know people would love it. So let's see if we got a couple more before we go. We have some Norwegians in the house. I can see that. We have Wigo Sanzagard, and Chris says he'd fly out to see it, and he loves me. That's nice. Benny from Delaware, can't wait to see you live again. Thank you so much. I don't know if there's going to be any more, but.
What's your favorite? I'll ask you a question. What's your favorite vegan thing to make now that you're vegan?
We've been eating really simple, but I don't mind it. I've been eating a little too much vegan junk food lately, but
Today is National Junk Food Day, so go to town.
There's worse things. We do a lot of stir fry. We do, we bake or roast vegetables. We get this box. We get a box every week that's full of organic, local, from the local farms, full of beautiful vegetables, fresh. So we just kind of whatever they put in there, we sort of just make food with it all week, and then supplement that with, obviously food shopping, and so a lot of basic stuff, tempeh and various fun things, lots of salads with tons of stuff in it, and we make it work. We eat a lot of avocado, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's like the best thing about being vegan is that you just eat, like, but avocado is vegan. Yay, let's go to town with it.
Exactly.
Well, all right. I don't want to keep you any longer.
Somebody said you look like, somebody said you like Tom Jones. Okay. She likes Tom Jones. Oh, wait a minute.
chance to ask questions.
Give them 10 seconds.
10 seconds. 10. I can do like the Janet Jackson thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anybody remember that from like the Janet Jackson video? I'll do it again. 5, 4, 3. Rhythm Nation. Okay.
Oh, somebody asked me if I have plans to play an outside venue in Pennsylvania with Andrew again. I don't know who Andrew is. They might be talking about Andre. Oh, Andre. I think I was supposed to do that again this summer, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's going to happen, though, to be honest. I don't have any plans to go back to the U.S. anytime real soon, so we'll see. But, Sharyn, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for being my guest on the Share and Share Like show. I'm Cher Gorgeous. This is the Hotel Share Forty Studios. You guys have been a great Share Force audience, and thank you so much, Tony. You're amazing.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You as well.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.